Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. Max back with you for another episode, and today I'm trying out a team video. I'm going to be talking about my second favorite team in the NHL, that team being the Dallas Stars. A very interesting team with a lot of different assets in Dallas. A total of 6 players are ranked in the top 100 players right now, and without further ado, the lineup looks like this. First line, Jason Robertson, Roope Hintz, and Mikko Rantanen. We're looking at 2 potential 100-point players. Second line, Duchene, Wyatt Johnston, Tyler Seguin, who was at a point-per-game pace last year before he had a season-ending injury. He came back with 1 game to go to the season. Third line, Benn, Sam Steele, Mavrik Bourque. Fourth line, a little more grit, Radek Faksa, Colin Blackwell, and Oscar Back. On defense, we have the returning Miro Heiskanen, who, in my opinion, is being devalued and is still a top option. Top 10, top 12 defenseman in the league. Esa Lindell, excellent two-way defenseman. Thomas Harley, Lyubushkin, and finally on the last pairing, Bichsel and Lundqvist. Jake Oettinger, of course, goalie number 1 in Dallas. So, Mikko Rantanen is the highest rated and drafted player on the Stars at 10th overall right now. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I will not be drafting Rantanen in the first or even in the early second round. Last season, he finished as player number 23 in standard drafts with 32 goals, 56 assists, 88 points in 82 games. Rantanen has crazy stretches of production, and if he can stay consistent, this guy's a 95 plus point player per year. I just don't trust him enough to finish in the fantasy top 15. Just last year, remember guys, he got 6 points in 13 games with Carolina before being dealt to Dallas. Yes, he was amazing during the playoff run, but he didn't even cut a point per game in the season with the Stars, which means he finished the year with 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points in the last 33 games. That's not very first round pickish of him, in my opinion. He's too much of a boomer bust for those rankings. Jake Oettinger going 17th overall right now. Alright, in previous years, I was a big fan of getting Vasilevsky or Oettinger in the late second, early third round, and then build around them. Most of the time, I was aiming to have a first round pick forward, a top goaltender, and at least 2 high-ranked defensemen after 5 rounds. This year, however, I will mostly be using the no goalie strategy at draft time because there are so many great options at the back end of the draft. Guys like Freddie Anderson, Stuart Skinner, John Gibson, just to name a few. Sure, they all have their problems and they're not Jake Oettinger, but I think the difference between getting a Jack Hughes, Sidney Crosby, William Nylander in the second round and a goalie later on will work a lot better than getting Oettinger in the second and chasing for forwards later. So to me, and that's no knock on Oettinger, I love him. I still think he finishes as a top 3 goalie, but I'm going to skip on him at his rank and ADP of 17. Jason Robertson at 37 overall is a pretty attractive option. Back-to-back 80-point campaigns in full seasons. That shows consistency. He had 109 points 3 years ago, so he can be a top fantasy option. Rantanen is going to help with his point totals. His shot total decreased from 313 to 211 in 1 year, however, which could have been frustrating last year if you owned him. I think his ranking of 20th was too high last season, but 37th is a great place to get him this year. It's not crazy to think he could have a similar or better season than a guy like Kyle Connor, who's currently ranked number 13th on Yahoo right now. I like Robertson around the 35th pick, and I invite you to get him. 3rd round, 4th round, depending if you're in a 10 or 12 man league. Roope Hintz and Wyatt Johnston. Last season, Hintz finished as player ranked number 88. Johnston finished at 56th overall in standard drafts. But this year, Johnston ranks 61st, while Hintz gets the 56th spot. 58 goals, 74 assists, 132 points in 156 games for Hintz. 65 goals, 71 assists, 136 points in 164 games for Johnston. The stats are extremely similar in the last two seasons, and so are their peripherals. Roope Hintz is one of my favorite players. I'm actually looking to get his jersey this year. But Wyatt Johnston, has one thing that Hintz doesn't have, and that's double eligibility with the center and right wing position. They're both at a decent rank, but I've been doing a few mock drafts, and from what I've seen so far, people reach on Hintz up to pick 50, whereas Johnston typically goes down between the 65th and 70th pick. And that to me is better value. Now, I know Julian and a lot of other pros are big on Harley this year. I'm going to take a pass at his ADP of 78. I see him more as a handcuff pick in hopes that Miro gets injured again. Harley with Heiskanen last year had 7 goals, 16 assists, 23 points in 48 games. And for the 30 games that Heiskanen was gone, his stats boosted to 9 goals, 18 assists, 27 points, and he played more than 2 minutes per night while getting more PP1 time than when Heiskanen's in the lineup. Miro Heiskanen is not an aging defenseman going out of his prime. He's only 26 years old, coming back from injury, and unless one of them gets traded or injured, this is still Miro Heiskanen's blue line, at least for the time that he's healthy. I'll pass on Harley inside the top 100. Up next is Matt Duchene, who's finally found a home in Dallas. He went a point per game last year at 34 years old. His totals over 2 seasons in Dallas is 147 points in 162 games. Matt Duchene is excellent for points leagues, as I wouldn't necessarily target him in a banger or deep cats league. He lacks peripherals but makes up for it offensively, as shown by his 27 power play points last year. Now, would I draft Matt Duchene at pick number 92? No, I think that's a little bit of a reach. Although he did finish number 71 last season, and he has mostly been healthy since 2021, I still have injury concerns. I like to target defensemen between the 80th and the 110th pick, so I got Duchene a bit down on my list. If you can snag him between picks 105 and 120, you're getting good value. As we spoke about Harley's ranking being too low, I think Miro Heiskanen's ranking is right, especially in a draft where people are reaching out for defensemen. Snagging Heiskanen between the 100th and 120th pick is amazing value. He's 4th all-time in points for defensemen on Dallas, and by season's end, he's going to be 3rd. He needs 51 points to get there, and if he stays healthy, I see no problems ahead. He should be getting 60 plus points this season, above 20 power play points. He's a great target, and he is being devalued too much. Tyler Seguin with a ranking of 232 is just great. He doesn't even own an ADP right now. Yes, he's injury prone, but you drafted him so late. Who cares if he goes down? Stick him on IR for a few months. Last season, he had 21 points in 20 games before suffering the injury. Fitness is a concern, but his offensive abilities mixed with the firepower around him makes him the perfect late round pick. Depending on how draft goes, I'm willing to fish for Tyler Seguin around pick number 200th. And those were the fantasy relevant guys on the Dallas Stars. For deeper options and weekend waiver wire guys, you're looking at guys like Jamie Benn, who is a nice add and drop as he's slowly declining. 49 points is not bad, but his shots and hits are trending downwards. Mavrik Bourque is a speedy center. Former first round pick in 2020, he had 77 points and finished top point producer at the AHL level at 21 years old before having his rookie year last season, where he ended up with a modest 25 points in 73 games. He'll be a decent waiver wire add in some stretches of the season, especially if there's injuries in the top 6. I think he's the next man in line. So keep an eye out. And finally, Lian Bichsel, 21 years old, 6'7" defenseman, another first round pick who had his rookie year last season, 9 points and 155 hits in 38 games. That's over 4 per game, and it makes him a great option for Cats leagues and a great option for banger leagues. And that's it for today, guys. I hope my insights were helpful. If you like the content, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and I'll catch you guys soon for more insights.